This guy again with his clickbait pile of silver. This is gotta be all fake silver over here. This guy again with his little clickbait pile of silver. Man, getting sick of him. What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in. We got another live stream underway. It has been a wild day in the market today. We see a big pullback in precious metals. Seems that Bitcoin is starting to recover a bit, but is still pulled back pretty hard off its all-time high of about 58,000. As I'm making this video right now, silver has had a day where it's fallen back 73 cents, closing at 26.80. Gold takes a pretty sharp hit at $35 down. Platinum taking a bit of a hit, $26 down. A lot of opportunities going on, a lot of blood on the street. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Welcome everybody jumping into the live stream. By the way, all my live streams are posted. If you want to be notified of future live streams, just take a click the subscribe button down below. If you click the bell afterwards and all notifications, you'll be notified of all future live streams on the channel. Would love to have you in the community, and it's completely free to do that. Would love to have you in the community. Click the subscribe down below. But yeah, big pullback in precious metals. I want to talk about my opinion and my price prediction on what I think could happen in the coming weeks here in precious metals. I want to talk about Bitcoin as well here. It seems Bitcoin is starting to recover a bit, but it is still down about 10,000 from its all-time highs, but holding pretty strong, all things considered, with the market pulling back and precious metals pulling back. Bitcoin is holding here at 48,000 roughly, which is pretty interesting to see that. But again, it has pulled back pretty sharp off of the all-time highs, about 10,000 off the all-time highs with Bitcoin. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Welcome to the live stream for everybody jumping in right now. I make my investments on a long-term thesis. If you know me from my channel, you know that I spend my time developing a thesis and sticking to that long-term thesis. With precious metals, I think there is no better time, and this is me speaking personally. Everything I say on this channel is not to be taken as financial advice, just my own personal opinion here. Again, I am not a Series 7. This is not financial advice, not responsible for anybody's investments. I have a long-term strategy on precious metals, and I think that there is no better time to be in industrial precious metals than now. Personally, I am a big bull on silver and platinum. Those are my top two holdings. I think that it is a big opportunity what has just opened up here on the market if you can find somebody that isn't charging a ridiculous premium on their silver, which it seems everybody's going to want at least a pretty large premium on their physical silver right now. If you don't believe me, go ask your local coin shop, look online, see what silver's going for. Pretty hefty premiums going on right now. I happen to think that this is a smoke and mirrors play. You know, you can make as many paper short positions as you'd like. You can make paper short position after paper short position after paper short position, but the truth is you can't put paper in an electric car. You can't put paper in solar panels. You can't put paper in all these industrial uses that if we are going towards this Green New Deal, if we are going towards all electric movement, well, you're going to need a lot of silver for that. You're going to need a lot of silver for that. And these companies are going to be signing into contracts to get this silver delivered to them. So I happen to think there's a lot of smoke and mirrors going on here to artificially press the price of silver down. Now, this is just my opinion here. And this close on Friday, I think it is an opportunity, a major opportunity here. And I think over the next coming weeks, we will see a big rally in silver. I think that there's only so much to be delivered. And I think that there is going to be a lot more deliveries of the physical silver than we are expecting. That is my prediction. That's what I personally think will happen. Just not to be taken as fact, just my opinion, not to be taken as advice. So that's how I feel in this pullback in precious metals. I think it is a major buying opportunity, and that is what I am looking to do. And trust me, I'm backing up the truck. I'm backing up the truck, and any silver I am selling, I am looking to replace, but it's getting very hard to replace the silver right now. The supply channels are still very constrained, and I imagine over the next coming weeks that it continues down this route. Now, does this mean the silver short squeeze is, still on? Is this a failure of a silver short squeeze? I think this type of a squeeze is far different than a squeeze that you would see on a micro cap stock. It's way, way different. You don't have to have the physical item delivered when you cover a short position in just a regular stock. In this type of a situation, you can only artificially suppress it for so long, and that is only if the community doesn't have silver hands. Notice how I said silver hands and not diamond hands. Silver hands. It's only a matter of time before there isn't enough silver to meet the demand, and this artificial suppression, all these paper contracts, they have to inevitably deliver the goods. And it's going to get very interesting. I think over the next, let's say the next few months, but realistically, I think we could see some major developments happen over the next week here. I think over the next coming weeks, we might see some major developments in silver, notably the industrial metals, silver and platinum. Gold has been taking a real hard hit lately. It's been trading sideways for the past 6 months, and it's been taking a very hard hit. I mean, $35 today on gold is a pretty hard hit. Now, that's granted, silver's taking a hit as well, but look at the long-term charts on the two. If you pull up the 1-year chart, on gold, it's relatively flat. I mean, it was about 1,700 about a year ago, and it's about 1,700 again. I mean, it's pretty flat over the past year. You look at silver's chart over the past year, and we're talking silver was in the mid to low teens, and then now you're talking about silver at 26, 27. It's had some serious gains, and it's held those serious gains over the last year in silver. Now, it's still ridiculously low. The gold to silver ratio is still ridiculously far off, but it's starting to tighten and tighten and tighten, just like we had talked about in that video I made. I want to say maybe 9 months ago, I made a video talking about the gold to silver ratio. I'd recommend taking a look at that video that I posted a while ago. If you scroll down my videos on the channel, I talked about the gold to silver ratio back when it was around 100 to 1, and I was just saying, hey, this is crazy. It shouldn't be 100 to 1 like this. Now we're seeing that ratio start to tighten. So even if silver's going down a bit, you're seeing gold go down as well, but not continuing the gains that gold had. It's actually been losing the gains. It went all the way to 2,100 on gold, and it's slowly losing the gains and tightening that ratio. But still, I think the gold to silver ratio should be somewhere around 16 to 1, which is basically where it's been historically. On a more conservative basis, we can say, 25 to 1, at least 25 to 1. But at these levels, I believe the gold to silver ratio is somewhere around 60 to 1 to 70 to 1, somewhere in that range. And I think it's going to continue to tighten. Now, does that mean gold goes down while silver stays flat? Possibly. Does that mean silver goes up while gold goes down? Or does silver outpace the gains that gold makes? My prediction would be that they both start to go up a bit, and you see silver's gains outpacing gold's gains. That's what I would think personally. And when it comes to platinum, it's an industrial metal that is very rare. And so I hold my platinum in a way like I would hold my gold. I really specialize in silver and platinum. I like those two metals the most. And the reason for platinum is I think platinum has all the characteristics to be a monetary metal. It just is a far more scarce. I think someone corrected me that I'm supposed to say scarce, not scarce. Scarce monetary metal. When you talk about a market cap that's in the billions versus market cap that's in 10 trillion, that is a 10 trillion market cap, I think platinum has a ridiculous amount of upside in it. And I think it should be, in my mind, I think it should be at least double the price of gold. I mean, platinum is, it's just extremely rare, and it holds all of the abilities of being a noble metal. It's actually more of a noble metal than gold. It's more dense. It's harder to refine. A lot of things I could talk about with platinum, but I think right now the thesis behind holding industrial metals has never been more strong. And so the big money on Wall Street, I'm sure all of us have heard the saying, buy when there's blood on the streets. Buy when there's blood on the streets. Well, I think that's about right now, and realistically, this isn't that heavy of a pullback if you think about it, but it is a pullback. I think that it's been beautiful to see. I see some people, Davin's saying, Rob, donate to our billboard Kickstarter. Let's awaken the masses. Wall Street Silver. Oh, they're trying to get a billboard at Wall Street Silver. That's pretty rad. You know, I've been saying Wall Street Silver, it's been growing. I watched them go from 10,000 to 20,000. I think they're now at 35,000 members on Wall Street Silver. Nothing but love for you all over there. And some really cool posts I've been seeing on. I've been looking at the forum. I need to be more active there and actually talk to some people on the Reddit page. But I respect how much it's been growing. But yeah, it's been beautiful to see more eyeballs start to be looking at silver and just understanding what sound money really is. But what I still stand by is, what better time is there to be in sound money? Silver is sound money just like gold is. However, silver is heavily needed in industry. Roughly half of the silver that is produced every year is stripped away to industry. So it has the best of both worlds. It is needed in industry. It is constantly being, gobbled up by the industry by the ton. And at the same time, the retail audience is trying to buy, sound money right now and protect their assets against hyperinflation. So it has the best of both worlds. And that's why I think we're seeing gold pull back in the way that it has. Because although, silver's pulled back today as well, when you see the pullback off of highs, gold was at 2,100 and has steadily gone down. And if you look at the 1 year chart, the 1 year chart is what's really telling here. Maybe I could show you guys a quick little, to those that don't have the app downloaded, let me show you the 1 year chart real quick. So here is the 1 year chart on gold. Notice how it stayed kind of flat and it hasn't really gone anywhere. It's been, around 1,700 and just kind of staying flat. Now let's look at silver's chart. Let's look at silver's chart. And now let's look at platinum's chart. So what do we see from that? It is very apparent that the industrial metals is outpacing gold. Gold is a monetary metal, and they say there's industrial purpose for gold, but anything that you're using gold for in an industry, you can use silver for. So why would you use way more expensive material to do the same thing that silver could do? If silver's trading under 30 an ounce and you have a metal that is 1,700, are you going to go and pay 1,700 so you can use gold in that same purpose that the $30 metal could do? It just doesn't make sense to me. So gold, realistically, if silver is in the world, if silver exists, period, well, I don't see gold as a industrial metal in the same way that I see silver as an industrial metal. That's not to say that gold isn't a hedge against inflation. It's not to say that gold isn't money. It's to say that of the two, I think the much larger ROI is going to be silver. I think the largest ROI is going to be silver by a landslide. And over the past year, we have seen that. Silver has gone from the mid-low teens to holding a gain well over 25 here. So the proof is in the 1 year chart. And let's see where that 1 year chart continues to go. I imagine that we continue to see this trend. I think silver jumps over 30 an ounce with conviction very soon. We saw it go through 30 recently, but it didn't hold the gain and it's pulled back. I think the next move over 30 is going to be with some major conviction, and I think it starts moving quick. I think it starts going 30, 35, 40, 45, and starts going to all-time highs that it was reached in 2011. Realistically, when you look at what was going on in 2011, we were recovering after the 2007 crisis. And you saw this jump in precious metals where gold reached an all-time high and silver reached an all-time high of 48. But we didn't have a Green New Deal back then. We didn't have this influx of electric cars. We didn't have the influx of solar panels and all these things that are going on right now. With Bitcoin and everything and all the different technology that we have going on, there is more consumption of silver than ever before. And now on top of it, a audience that wants to buy silver and hold silver as sound money and a hedge against inflation, it's really a perfect storm for the metal. And that is why I hold the majority of my net worth in silver. I really do stand by the things that I'm talking about when it comes to silver and platinum. Platinum, I think, is of all of the metals, if I'm going to store my money in more of a dense manner, the whole logic behind gold is I can put 20 grand in a little 10-ounce bar. This in gold, is a much smaller pile, obviously, that you can just put in your pocket. But if I'm going to hold my money in a more dense manner, I want it to be in platinum. I think platinum is far more rare. Well, it is far more rare, and it has all of the same features of gold, except, it has to be mined. There's not that much of it above ground. It's very, very, very rare, and it is also used in industry, much more so than gold is used in industry. And I think that there's going to be continued purpose for platinum. It has a very unique skill set for a metal having such a high melting point. A lot of good stuff going for platinum, but at the same time, I'm more bullish than ever on silver. Now, to talk about Bitcoin a little bit, I think that Bitcoin is going to start having more and more institutions and more large companies continue to buy into Bitcoin. I don't think what happened with Tesla recently is the end of what we're going to hear with Bitcoin. I don't think this $1.5 billion buy is going to be something where they're going to be announcing them selling it or anything like that where it would have negative press towards Bitcoin. If anything, I'm waiting, and this is me, I've said this in the past, this is prior to Tesla doing what they did. I've said this in the past and I'm going to say it again. I think Amazon is inevitably going to start accepting Bitcoin, or having the people that are selling on Amazon start accepting Bitcoin. If you see an eBay, if you see Amazon accepting Bitcoin, and realistically, why wouldn't they? They could just install the app that converts the Bitcoin to dollars immediately, and there's really nothing to lose there. There's everything to gain and nothing to lose. And if we saw that happen, if the service didn't exist where you could convert the Bitcoin to cash immediately, then I would say, I don't know if Amazon's going to adopt this. That would be kind of a long shot. But the fact that it exists, this isn't just like Tesla holding the Bitcoin, and storing it as a hedge against inflation, and a safe haven, asset, that the way they're buying their Bitcoin. If Amazon got in and they allowed people to transact and buy things in Bitcoin, that would be huge. That would be huge. It just opens up a huge marketplace, and they could effectively, they could come out. The biggest problem with Bitcoin, and this is something I talked about in a podcast recently. I did a podcast with Bulldog. Why did I forget his name? I hate Bulldog Mindset. I did a podcast with Bulldog Mindset talking about Bitcoin. He made it a little bit of a clickbait title and said, end of Bitcoin or something like that. But we talked all about Bitcoin and how I'm bullish on Bitcoin. I'm bullish on precious metals. But it was a great podcast. I really enjoyed that, John. But with Bitcoin, we had talked about in that podcast that the problem with Bitcoin is that it is effectively trying to be digital gold, where it means that you are storing it, and you are not going to be using it to buy your coffee. You're not going to sit there in line waiting for 20 minutes for your confirmation that Bitcoin went into their wallet to buy coffee. Now, the problem that we have and what we're facing is that it is not going to be used for a quick transaction. So could you imagine if Amazon allowed you to deposit a large quantity of Bitcoin and then give you a select amount of Amazon tokens to then buy products on Amazon? Like, how brilliant would that be? Because the largest problem that we have with cryptocurrency right now is what is going to be the medium for the day-to-day transactions, because Bitcoin isn't going to be that thing where you're buying your coffee with it and doing that kind of thing. It's going to always be the store of value. Just like you don't go to a coffee shop and give them a shaving of gold. You don't even go there with a silver coin and give them silver. You have to have some digital asset that is going to be the store of value that doesn't have any inflation or anything like that you can just store in a hard wallet. And you're going to have some sort of cryptocurrency that is going to be your day-to-day transaction cryptocurrency. And could Amazon fill that void? Could one of these large companies come out with a token. I mean, Facebook was working on one for a long time called Libra. So it's not exactly, you know, a long shot here, but part of me wonders if Amazon could allow you to deposit Bitcoin and then have their own token system so they can instantaneously be able to move that coin around and transfer the coin to their actual sellers on the platform. It's a long shot, but I just am saying that if one of these large e-commerce giants adopts Bitcoin, you're talking about Bitcoin just going, I can't even tell you what my price prediction would be if that happened. I mean, it's just an avalanche that would form. So I am more bullish than ever when it comes to decentralized assets. I am more bullish than ever when it comes to silver, when it comes to platinum, when it comes to Bitcoin. I have I have platinum and silver hands, a mixture. I have an alloy between platinum and silver. Not diamond hands, platinum and silver hands. And if I put my hands down, you'd hear a clink, I think, you know. I'm big on all of those. But let's get to some questions here. I'm going to do some Q&As. Kane Bizarro, I really appreciate the $5, man. He says, what are your thoughts on Rhodium? You know what? I got to write it down. At this point, I have been asked about Rhodium so many times, and this is like, you know, I'm actually a middle child, if you can believe it, and Rhodium is the middle child of the precious metals world, and it just, you know, it's just outperforming all the metals, and meanwhile, nobody is giving it the time of day, and it's just probably sitting there like, what? Why are you guys always talking about the other metals? What about me, man? I just went from a couple grand to 22,000. What's going on? Can you guys talk about me a little bit? No, it's at 24,000 for an ounce of Rhodium on the bid, 26,000 on the ask for Rhodium. It's up, when everything is down, it's up 6.67%. Somebody's got to talk about this metal. Somebody's got to talk about this metal, and I appreciate you guys bringing it up. Yeah, that chart is just insane. Looking at the 5-year chart, it's just explosive growth out of Rhodium. I have to do my research on Rhodium and look into it. You know, I'm willing to say that I've had my blinders on to it. I had one deal where I sold like 10 ounces of Rhodium. I've talked about this a few times, where I just feel foolish for doing that, and it's bothered me. So I've just kind of put it in the back burner. And now I'm looking at Rhodium, and it's just, you can't deny it. You can't deny its growth. I mean, sitting there at 26,000 on Rhodium. 1 year ago, Rhodium was sitting under 5K. You know, it's Kane. I gotta be honest with you and just say I have to study that and make a video on it. I think Rhodium deserves its own video, and I wish I had some. I wish I had some myself, and I don't have any, and I have to be honest about that. But it just keeps overperforming. It just keeps overperforming. You know, maybe some of the people in the live feed over here can talk about some of the uses for it. I've heard that it's used in screens and electronics, like they're using it for certain screens. But with a price point like that, it's like how much of it can you use? I mean, what kind of things are going to be needing Rhodium, and what could afford to pay that rate to use Rhodium? You know, there's something that I'm overlooking with it, and I hope that somebody can help fill me in on that. Maybe shoot me a DM on my Instagram. I'm always learning with you all, so I'd love to get some feedback on that, and eventually we'll make a video specifically on Rhodium. Supreme Junk Removal says, hey, Rob, what are your thoughts about Ethereum? Much appreciated. I'm very mixed on Ethereum because I've heard a lot of different things about it. I have always thought of it as being an inflationary coin where there isn't a cap. There isn't a hard cap on it, like Bitcoin being at 21 million. So in the near term, I'm mainly only Bitcoin. I bought a little bit of Ethereum just to kind of sit on it and look and watch it. But I'm not big into Ethereum. I'm pretty much all in on Bitcoin. And Ethereum, I want to see, you know, a company using it for everything that it can be used for. It's programmable money. It's smart contract deployment. So I want to see companies adopt the Ethereum network. I want to see them using it. And there's also some talk of it being it's that it can actually dissolve itself, so to speak, where it could actually be a deflationary asset in the future when it comes out with Ethereum 2. So there's a lot to be studied with Ethereum, but in the meantime, I'm not interested in being speculative about it right now. I believe in Bitcoin. I've studied Bitcoin, and I believe that it is, of all the cryptocurrencies right now, one of them is going to have to be the reserve currency of the internet, so to speak. And there's no comparison to Bitcoin when it comes to that. So I guess my answer is I want to see some more adoption. I want to see some more adoption. And if anybody has some information on Ethereum and Rhodium, what we were just talking about, shoot me a DM on my Instagram, at Rob Sultan on Instagram. I will get back to every single DM there. So shoot me a DM. Let's talk about it. And eventually we'll make a video on all of these subjects. I think Rhodium deserves its own video, and I think Ethereum deserves its own video as well. And so that will be in the near future on the channel. But it is something, it's something interesting. And right now I am personally just sticking with Bitcoin until I see more adoption happening with Ethereum. Now, maybe I miss out on the next run in Ethereum, like being part of if some big announcement comes out and I miss out on it because I'm not in it right now, maybe that's what happens. But I would like to pile in Ethereum once I see that adoption actually happen, if that makes some sense. But it's a great question. It's a great question. And I really appreciate the super chat, man. Thank you. But all in all, with what's going on right now, it's hard to, it's really hard to see a day when the stock market goes, well, not when the precious metals market goes down like this, because the stock market is down as well. And you want to see days where the stock market goes down and precious metals goes up. That's the way it's supposed to work. You know, if the stock market goes down, metals go up. Metals go down, stocks go up. They're supposed to be opposites, but when you see them running parallel, there's something wrong in that situation, and I'm looking for that detachment to happen at some point. We're told that the dollar is getting strong. You know, we're told that the dollar is getting strong. I mean, look at the dollar index today. The dollar index today jumps. It's jumping to almost 91. You know, it jumped up like 75 cents, and it's almost at 91. $90.91 on the US dollar index. It's actually been going up. That's baffling to me. It's baffling to me. And it really pays to be a contrarian at times. And in this situation, I think that there is smoke and mirrors, that we are supposed to believe that the dollar is strong when it's really not. It's just the cleanest shirt in the dirty hamper. And maybe the other shirts in the dirty hamper of fiat currencies are starting to try to want to back their currency to some sort of metal, have some sort of actual sound money to combat the dollar. Who knows what could happen? But I just don't believe, after printing $13 trillion in the past year and a quarter or year and a half, that we can actually have individuals like Yellen or Powell say with a straight face, yeah, the dollar's getting stronger, nothing to worry here, no inflation in sight. It's like, really? Really? Are you guys buying that argument? Because I'm not. I'm not buying it. And the most money to be made isn't by following the orders or the herd. It's by having some sort of conviction in a trade that you have put your time and effort into researching. And I'm not bullish on the dollar right now. And we're supposed to believe that the dollar is bullish. The dollar is getting stronger. And I don't believe it. I don't buy it. You know, I really don't. It's just a matter of time before we see the dollar crash. And, you know, 2007 was a housing bubble crash. What happens when there's a currency bubble crash? I don't know. But that's the next crash that I think is in store for us. I think it is the actual currency itself. So if you see the stock market pulling down, that's a double whammy of going down, because you have a inflationary currency like the dollar that is a very, very inflationary currency. Could you imagine? Like, we're talking about, like, my whole point with Dogecoin is that it's inflating at roughly 5% a year, and I don't like inflationary coins. I want a deflationary coin. But the dollar is like if it was an inflationary coin, so to speak. I mean, we're talking about something that's inflating the supply. We're always talking about the overall supply of the coins in a cryptocurrency being inflated year over year in something. Dodge is like a 5% inflation year over year. So it's not a hard cap. It inflates year over year. And the overall mindset is, oh, the demand is going to exceed the inflation rate. Well, the dollar's inflation rate, technically, so to speak, they say the inflation rate is only a couple percent or something like that. But the added dollars to the ecosystem is to the tune of like 25%. Like it's like they added over the past year and a half so many dollars to the overall supply of dollars. It's mind-boggling. So if we're critical of these 5% additions to the cap of coins, but it's like this doesn't even have a ceiling. It doesn't have a hard cap on the inflation rate. We're not told, oh, the dollar only inflates by 5% more added dollars per year. Only 5% added dollars per year. No, there's just randomly influxes of 10 trillion, random influxes of 3 trillion. Just it's insanity. And we're supposed to buy that it's getting stronger. It's like, what? Under what logic here? Under what logic? It makes no sense. Rob, just FYI, Chris Markix from Arcadia Economics talking about getting you on the show. Send email. It would be great to watch you. Oh, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. You know, I'm a fan of all the people he brings on the show, and it's really great to see, you know, more exposure in the silver world. I know it's like it's hard to navigate the whole putting yourself on YouTube, because there's people, if you say one wrong thing, there's people that'll really criticize you or say, why did you say that? Or why did you do that? And that whole situation with the banks leaving their lights on, I think that the whole point of that was just nobody wants to see you eating in front of them when they can't eat themselves. I know those banks had the generators on, and I understand there's the whole side of the argument where they go, well, the banks have certain protocols. They have generators in the garages. So by criticizing them for leaving the lights on and all of that, it's not that big of a deal. And you guys overdid that. I think the whole point of it is like the symbolic part of it. So I understand that it was not as big of a deal as it might have been portrayed. And I think he understands that too. He's a really good guy, a really smart guy. And there was some comparisons made of different things. And it's just, overall, I try to look at the good in things, and I try to look at the good in people, not look at the negative stuff. And overall, I think everything that Chris is doing for the community and drawing awareness towards silver is just brilliant, and he does a great job at it. That's all I have to say about that situation there. And people can criticize me for my support of what he did. I think that the banks could have turned those lights off. It's just a symbolic gesture of like, we're better than you. We keep our lights on when you guys are suffering, sort of thing. And I don't want to get too much into that, but he's a great guy. He says, Rob, they want you on the show right now. Really? That'd be awesome. That would be awesome. Rob, join Arcadia. Listen. I mean, I would be happy to do it. I'd be happy to do it. I don't know if we could do it over the YouTube thing. I just did a podcast recently, so I'm learning how to do the live stream thing. I had to do it from my actual laptop computer screen. I have both screens on right now. People are saying, oh, wow, that's interesting. Well, I mean, I'd be interested. I'd be interested in doing it. I didn't know he's live right now, but yeah, I would love to do a live stream with him. You know, I'd love to talk with him. Let's talk. My fellow silver squirrels in the house are putting together connections for me. I appreciate the fellow silver squirrels in the house. You're all awesome. That's really cool to see you guys wanting to see that. Should I stop the live stream and go on over there? I mean, I don't really know how to set that up, so to speak, but let me check here. Load up Zoom. Yeah, I think I need to download Zoom and all of that. I haven't downloaded Zoom on my computer, but I think they're doing it via Zoom. Been live for 9 hours. He's putting in the work. You see, that's the thing with Chris. Nobody can deny that he's putting in the work. He's putting in the work, and he's really bringing some serious guests on his show. I got nothing but support for him. Some people, I got a lot of criticism. You know, I went to bat and I said, you know, this guy's a patriot, and a lot of people said he referenced this and he referenced that, and there was some negative things here. And the truth of the matter is, he is bringing awareness to sound money. He's bringing awareness to something that the world needs to know about. You know, right, wrong, or indifferent about the whole banking situation and whatnot, them leaving their lights on or whatever that situation was. He has good intentions. He has good intentions. He doesn't have bad intentions. And I love to see the exposure that he's bringing into the silver community. So nothing but positive things to say. They're going to invite you. Install Zoom. People are waiting on me. Should I really sign out, guys? I mean, we're in the middle of this live stream here. Chris said he's trying to get you in right now. Mr. T is always going to bat for me, man. Mr. T, you are the man. That's awesome. That is awesome. You know what? I'll go, guys. I'll go over there and I'll see what I can do. Let me see if I can download Zoom and try to figure this out. I appreciate you guys all sticking up for me. So go over to the live stream over there and let's all see if we can get on the channel and we will talk about it. It will be fun. I'm happy to figure this thing out. He's emailed me the link. All right. Well, I'll look into it, guys. We'll sign out right now. My fellow silver squirrels, setting things up for me. You guys are awesome. Let's do it. All right, I'll sign out. I'll see you guys over there. We'll see if we can make this happen. Talk to you in a little bit.